Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Tasha. Tasha Talks. I know it's been a while, people. It's been a while. I know. So, but you guys know already, I only talk when I think I have something to say. So, for the last two evenings, I've been watching programs with regards to intimate partner abuse, domestic violence, coercive behavior, etc. Though we all know that this is a topic very close and near to my heart because I have been through it myself, and I'm happy that I've come out the other side. And I'm here to tell my story. Luckily, I am here to tell my story because lots of women and men don't don't live to tell their story because they are killed by the hands of their partner. As I was watching those programs, I was thinking the way these perpetrators operate, they are counting on one, the secrecy of the relationship, in the sense that they're counting on that the person that they're abusing is not willing to talk to anybody about the abuse. And I realized that that happens a lot of times, especially in certain communities, in certain societies, such as my own, being Black, from an Antillean background, or Caribbean background. I know we like to keep secrets. If you're being abused, little children are being abused by so-called uncles, and we all go, shh, don't tell anybody, let's keep it in the family, let's keep it. No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, sorry guys, it seems like there was no sound. Can you guys hear me? Can you leave a message if you can hear me? Say yay. Let's start again. Let's start again. So, as I was saying, I was watching this program called Two Nights in a Row. I've been watching this program about abuse, intimate partner abuse. Intimate partner abuse can be anything from controlling behavior, coercive behavior, to physical assault and physical abuse. Obviously, physical abuse is much more easier to detect. It's much more easier to detect. Yeah, you can see it. And even so, some people make excuses. Coercive behavior is much more difficult to detect because it's very subtle, and usually that's where it starts. The abuse starts with coercive behavior, controlling behavior, very subtle, isolating the person, controlling money, controlling what the person is wearing, controlling where the person can go, etc. But what I want to talk today is the secrets that we keep. As I said just now, the perpetrators of this abuse, whether it's domestic violence or sexual abuse, they are counting on the victim's silence. They are counting on that they've worked so much on the psyche of their victim that it becomes almost like the Stockholm syndrome, where the capturer, where the victim becomes like in love with their capturer and defending their capturer instead of realizing and accepting and trying to find a way to escape. And as I said just now, especially in my culture, in the Caribbean culture, and I think in the African culture in general, the Black culture, and as I spoke with people from different backgrounds, it also happens a lot in the Asian culture, is that we keep secrets. We keep secrets. If you're being abused as a child, you know, your uncles, so-called aunties, they're abusing you. It's all hush hush. We don't expose the perpetrator. We don't expose the abuser. And really, we end up making the victim the the perpetrator, almost saying that it's the victim's fault. And therefore, this abuse keeps going on and on from generations to generations to generations. It almost becomes normal. It becomes the norm. We expect to hear that this uncle has done this, or, you know, this niece has been abused, but it almost becomes the norm. And today I want to say no more, no more, no more secrets, no more secrets. Let's all open our mouth. And um, lots of times, especially as Black women, if we are in a intimate partner abusive relationship, in a domestic violence relationship, we are hesitant to come out and say, look, this is what's happening. We feel ashamed, and that's one of the things that the perpetrator counts on and tells you as well, that their behavior is because of you. You've caused the behavior. You've done this or you said that, and that's why they're beating you up. That's why they're controlling you, because it's you, blaming the victim. And and that's the big thing. So as Black women, we tend to say, oh, well, I'm strong. That will never happen to me. And I remember growing up as a child and teenager and getting into my 20s and hearing about domestic abuse and domestic violence and all the drama, as you call it, and thinking to myself, never, if a man ever raises his hands against me, he's going to end up in his grave, because that's going to be the first and last time they raise their hands against me. And yet I found myself in an abusive relationship, in an abusive marriage, and I had nowhere to turn, because even when I turned to my only, what I thought was my refuge, which was the church, I got zero on the request. And I've said that in previous videos, that I was helpless. I was so distraught, because the only place where I thought I could seek asylum, almost, it was zero. And I realized later, years later, now that I'm, you know, out of it, it's because churches are not equipped to deal with those situations, and therefore it also becomes another hush hush. No, it's not happening. That's not happening. Come, surely, Tash, you're exaggerating. Even when I come with my black eye, and even when I came all bandaged up, and you know, it was not good. But it's all part of keeping the secret. And by keeping secrets about abuse, whether the victim is keeping silent about it, or, you know, the victim keeps silent about it, because that's what we've been taught, that's what we've been indoctrinated with, that, oh, especially as Black, and we as Black women, we have it hard, and it's difficult for us to come out. But any person, it's difficult in general to come out and say, I'm being abused, I am in a domestic violence situation, and to talk about it. Lots of people don't understand the psychology of it, because it's like, well, you're being abused, you're in a relationship that doesn't work, get out. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. And because there's lots of psychological things in place there at work. And yeah, let's stop with the secrets. And even when friends tell you to that you're in an abusive relationship and you'd be like, what, me? Never, never. That's because, again, we feel the shame. Let's stop telling people that, oh, they're strong, oh, they're this, they're that, because based on that, lots of women, and especially men, because I was watching, day before yesterday, I was watching a man telling his story of domestic violence, and oh my gosh, I was feeling for this guy. I had tears in my eyes, because for men it's even more difficult to come out and say that they're being abused, and especially being abused by a woman. It's like so much taboo, and there's no provision, and where are they going? Where are they going? Where can they hide? Not hide, but where can they find refuge? It's all secretive. It's all secretive. And that's what the abuser counts on. That's why they try to isolate you from your friends, from your family, so that they can continue to perpetrate the abuse. So guys, let's open up our mouths, allow the victim to open their mouths and make provision, and let's break the silence. Let's break that barrier and stop, blaming the victim really for the abuse. So that's all I wanted to say. I will post the link in the comments. If you are in an abusive relationship, if you are being abused, or you have been abused and you're seeking for counseling or help or whatever support you're looking for, if you just click on the link, it will take you to a page for an organization that helps with this situation. So guys, let's all stand together and let's just say no to domestic violence, no to sexual abuse, any abuse. It just has to stop. It just has to stop. And let's stop silencing the victim. Let's just, be open, have a listening ear, and be observant. When you have friends, be observant. Because lots of times when you are in an abusive relationship, especially when it's about coercive behavior and controlling behavior, it's very difficult to pick up on that actually this is not right. This is coercive, or this is controlling behavior, and verbal abuse, and it kind of takes away at your self-esteem, and starting to second guess yourself, and that's very subtle. When it's physical, it's more clear. But even then, lots of time, as I said, the physical abuse comes after long period of the verbal abuse and the subtle controlling coercive behavior. It doesn't start out with the physical violence most of the time. It doesn't start out like that. So let's all be wary. Let's look around us. 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in their lives at some point. 1 in 16 men, and those figures are not good. They are not good. And let's all be open and talk. Don't be afraid. If you're hearing or seeing somebody being abused, or if you even suspect somebody being abused, let's err at the side of cautious. It's better to call the police and nothing is happening than see, a body being carried out of your neighbor's house. All right. Love you guys. Speak to you soon. Bye.